What happens when the laziest boy in a dusty village has to save his family from starving? Would he even try? Watch what Thomas does next. It sounds unbelievable, but this true story shows how desperation can turn indolence into ingenuity. Stick with me, and you'll discover how Thomas transformed himself when hardship struck. And pick up some powerful English words like indolent, fortitude, and ignominy. By the end, you'll have 3 practical tips to beat procrastination and stay motivated. Thomas lived in a quiet village where houses were made of mud walls and straw roofs. Chickens pecked at the ground, barefoot kids played in the dust, and neighbors gossiped under shady trees. In this simple world, Thomas was known for his laziness. He'd lie on a mat staring at the ceiling while his mother swept the dirt floor, fetched water, and cooked over a clay stove. When asked to help in the fields, he'd groan, "I'll do it tomorrow," or "It's too hot right now." People shook their heads. "That boy is sharp," they whispered, "but his laziness will drag his family into ignominy." Thomas seemed oblivious. He lived as if life would somehow take care of itself. Then came a brutal drought. The river dried up and crops withered. Men carried water in heavy clay pots to save their fields. Thomas's father fell ill, leaving only Thomas to help. One evening his mother said softly, "If you don't act now, our harvest will be lost, and we will starve." For the first time, her words galvanized him. He realized he could no longer hide in his inertia. To lift spirits during the drought, the village elders announced a contest. Whoever could move a heavy cart loaded with firewood from one end of the village to the other would win grain and food. Strong men rushed to join. Everyone laughed when Thomas signed up. Him? He can barely carry a bucket of water. Yet Thomas thought, "If I don't try now, we will lose everything." On the big day, the village square buzzed. Mud-walled houses lined the lane, smoke from clay ovens drifted in the air. Each contestant stood beside a cart with a broken wheel. The task sounded simple, but was brutally hard, as you have to move the cart to the end of the lane. At the signal, muscular men grabbed ropes and heaved. Others pushed with sticks. Thomas didn't move. The crowd jeered, "Look, the lazy one hasn't even started. What is he doing?" He crouched and studied his cart. "This isn't just about strength," he whispered. "I need a different approach." While others strained and sweat, Thomas fetched a flat stone, wedged it beneath the broken wheel, and lifted the axle so the cart rested on 3 wheels. Then he began to push. The cart rolled, not smoothly, but steadily. Step by step, he advanced. Other men's ropes broke, sticks cracked, and their shoulders ached from the effort. Thomas moved quietly forward. Halfway down the lane, he was the only contestant still in motion. The villagers who had laughed now shouted encouragement. "Go, Thomas! Don't stop!" His back ached and his arms hurt, yet he found strength and bravery in the face of difficulty. The current condition of his family gave him strength. With one last push, the cart crossed the finish line. Dust rose, silence fell, and then the crowd erupted in cheers. What can you take from Thomas's transformation? Think creatively before acting. Thomas's wedge shows that a clever idea can outweigh brute force. When you face a tough task, pause and ask, "Is there a smarter way?" Sometimes a simple tool or new perspective makes all the difference. Find your purpose. Thomas changed only when his family's survival depended on him. A clear reason powers action. When you're tempted to procrastinate, connect your effort to something that matters. Purpose galvanizes us and breaks inertia. Persist despite criticism. People mocked Thomas until his method worked. If others doubt you, let their skepticism fuel your determination. Quiet perseverance often outlasts loud effort. So, my friend, next time you feel indolent, remember Thomas. Let his story remind you that laziness leads to ignominy, and that necessity can spark invention. Find your wedge, your simple but clever solution, and your why. Keep going, even if people laugh, and you'll be amazed what you can achieve. If you enjoyed this tale and learned something, share a time when you overcame procrastination in the comments. And if you want more stories and vocabulary lessons, subscribe and join me on the next adventure.